Howdy everyone, I'm Jackofhearts2 and today I'll be teaching you how to make a dungeon out of a box, piece of paper, another box, and some glue. Well, maybe another box. Alright, let's get started. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is plan out your box. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect, these are just where you're going to stick your lines. Alright. So step 2, get out your pocket knife and cut off the flaps of the box. Alright, let's go. Cutting off the flaps will make it easier to access, and will also double as the cardboard we're going to use to fill that out. So be sure when you're drawing your lines to make sure you have enough cardboard. You may use the other piece too if you want to, afterwards. Alright, so we glued it down, now we're just going to wait for it to dry. Press it down a bit to help it out, but it's really not necessary on too much. I need a hand to film the camera and another hand to glue the stuff in. I'm sorry you can't see it, but if I can get at about 4,000 hours worth of views, I can start monetizing, and then I can afford something that'll let me hold up the camera while I glue. Alright, so yes, another reason to like and subscribe. Thank you. Well, here is the basic shape of it. I put in multiple entry points. And granted, they probably shouldn't have all been from the front, the window, the hole in the door, and the ramp, but they all lead to different places. Yes, the ramp leads to here, door leads to here, and window leads to here. You could also use this as wargaming terrain, which is kind of what it was more designed for, or at least it looks like it. You can fight up on the balcony, and that door was probably a bit too small. I couldn't fix it for there, so let's just assume this was made for like hobbits or something. And then this wall just got blown up. Yeah, that's what we're going with. Yes, but yes, it's gonna be kind of hard to paint in there. So, in hindsight, it probably wasn't a good idea. So for the kids at home, I'd recommend you paint the first floor first before adding on the second one. And that's just my recommendation as someone who made a big mistake. Alright, let's go. We'll paint. So we're out spray painting, and there's just a couple things I wanted to tell you about. One, be sure of tape. You should remove any tape you have on there before you paint, and preferably before you start gluing, so you can just glue it back. But sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and if you notice something, if you're like playing and you're playing with someone else's terrain, notice something wrong with it, don't say it in front of the other players. They will notice, and it'll ruin the immersion for the entire table. It might make it be funny, but still, it'll probably not a good idea. Second, you should probably bring out multiple spray paints to spray paint multiple things, or just spray paint multiple things of the same colors, or for it to dry. It isn't really much of a problem since I like to walk, but a lot of painters do not, for polite terms. Doing one last walk around, and making sure we don't find any places that got missed. Yes, there is one. There is the United States Post Office sign, which might be running out of business somehow. I don't really understand it, but remember that one commercial where Spider-Man became a postman? Our money was well spent. Alright, so that is the box. It is spray painted. There is a logo that that no one would notice if someone didn't keep mentioning them. Thanks for nothing, Jarek. But anyways, here's a few ideas for details and how to do them. Well, my paint cap popped off. I'm not sure if this has ever happened to anyone before, but there's still a little bit of paint in there, it looks like. Yeah, I would have needed a new green sometime anyways. Well, after that fiasco, this video is now about how to use as much green as possible. So, yeah, like this. Use the greens running out to make the vines lessen and thin out. Yes, grow, my minions. grow. Well, after that fiasco, this video is now about how to use as much green as possible. So, yeah, like this. Use the greens running out to make the vines lessen and thin out. Yes, yes, grow, my minions, grow. Stop. Make patches of grass and moss, which should also grow, my minions, grow. Preferably longer strokes, but it's hard to paint one-handed. And I should have used my dominant hand in hindsight. Yes. Grow faster, my minions. And better. I painted on grass and vines, but we can't just use green, sadly, for detail. Well, I guess you could, but it's not very interesting. Well, certainly more interesting than just plain black. Or gray, in this case. Let's see some other ones. You can mix some blood to get either for blood splatters with red and brown. Might be kind of basic, but some people might not know it. Doesn't need to be like fake blood, it just needs to have the same color-ish. Alright. Then you can just pull it like this, or you could do it like a more natural blood splatter and go like this. Yes, that looks a bit old, but let's try again with more paint. Normally that works. What the heck? I'm gonna sort out this dark magic and be right back. It was just too far away, but those other ones could be like a water or something. They don't need to know. Or maybe it was because it was too close to a corner? Either way, I just know that might happen. A brush, or a brush with a bunch of break-offs to make an inconsistent blood scratch. Actually, like some giant thing was just putting its hands up on there, or some human was falling to its death. Ugh. So fill in these. Yes. Also put down paintings like this, painted on what used to be an envelope that I cut up and then painted a yellow around using cheap paint because I'm running out of yellow of all colors. I really don't know how. Or finally a mirror sticker that came out of a Lego creator set. Or some other sticker that makes sense. Or even a glass mirror if you can find one. Yes. Well, I think that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe, and so I can do more big projects. I'm sorry if I didn't have a video in a bit, but I hope it was worth it. Thank you very much for watching. Please join my Discord for fun paint tips, and maybe you can play with me sometime. Alright, bye-bye.